I'd like to call to order the Mahoney County Board of Elections regular board meeting on Thursday, February 7th, 2023 at 4 p.m. in the boardroom of the Mahoney County Board of Elections offices at 345 Oak Hill Avenue, Youngstown, Ohio. Would the director call the roll, please?
Ms. Costa,
Yeah, present. Present, I'm here.
Attorney Beatrice,
Here.
Ms. Barger.
Here.
Mr. Orange.
Here. Would we stand and have the vice chair lead us in the pledge of allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, if we can have a moment of silence for our nation. Chair will now request a motion to approve the minutes of the January 3rd, 2023 regular board meeting.
So moved.
There is a motion made by Joyce Kilpesta. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Sandra Barger. Is there any discussions? Hearing none, would the director call the roll, please?
Ms. Calpesta,
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice.
Yes.
Ms. Barger.
Yes.
Mr. Orange. Yes.
The chair would now entertain a motion to approve the bills of accounts or payments for May, August, and December of 2022 and January of 2023.
So moved.
There is a motion made by Joyce Kilpesta. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a second. I have a question. Why is it just May, August, and December of 2022? What happened to the other months?
So the reason was May and August, there was just a couple poll workers that lost their checks and needed their checks reissued, typically it's just that month. So that's why May and August is in there, they normally would be in there.
That's my question. So someone lost their checks and we have to reapprove all the bills again?
So you're reissuing payment for them and those checks were in May,
Okay.
yeah.
And they're right at the top, I believe,
Yeah.
from August and May.
So we were handed this sheet here and it has amounts on it. I have no idea what this is. Does that have anything to do with us approving the bills of accounts? Andy, do you know what this is?
That's for something coming up in the meeting.
Oh,
That's separate, yeah.
that's
not-
separate. That's not, that has nothing to do with the bills of accounts or anything?
No, that's for deputies, that's deputies,
Okay.
for the conversation order for that.
All right. All right, is there any more discussions? Hearing none, would the director call the roll, please?
Ms. Calpesta.
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice.
Yes.
Ms. Barger.
Yes.
Mr. Orange. Yes.
Chairman's report. I'm going to certify the validity and sufficiency of partisan candidates' petition for the May 2nd, 2023 primary election. Do we have a report on that, Mr. Director?
We do. All the petitions have been checked for the validity and sufficiency of signatures. We have 3 sets of petitions that the board needs to rule on. Those 3 sets of petitions are included on this list as of now. So if we took the 3 that we need to rule on before we certified this list,
Where are the 3? I just have a list of all of them. I don't have a separate list of.
3 in questions, sets of petitions and questions are Struthers Municipal Court, Dominic Leone, Second Ward Council, Youngstown, Ricole, Taltone.
Wait, hold on a second. Start with Youngstown, Second Ward, Recall,
Yes.
is it Taltone? Okay, go ahead.
First Ward Council, Dion Dowdy Lacey,
Okay.
and then Struthers Municipal Court, Dominic Leone.
So is the director suggesting that we approve everything else and then look at those individually?
Correct.
All right, the chair will entertain a motion to approve all of those except the Youngstown First Ward, Dion Dowdy Lacey, Youngstown Second Ward, Recole Talton, and the judge of the Struthers Municipal Court, Dominic Leone. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? And we're gonna take the other one separately, is that understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, would the director call the roll, please?
Ms. Galpesta?
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice?
Yes.
Ms. Barger?
Well, Joyce did it to me last meeting.
Yeah.
She voted for me.
Oh, okay.
Ms.
Yes.
Barger? Mr. Arch?
All right, now, let's look at each one of these individually. Diane Dowdy Lacey, what is the problem with that?
She needed 25 valid signatures. We have one part petition in question, which has 6 valid signatures. So without that part petition, she's going to be short by 6. And the part petition in question is this one, signatures 11 through 19 appear to be signed by the same person, fraudulent signatures.
11 through 19.
19 seem to be signed by the same person.
Okay. I would agree with that assessment, but so what are we gonna do about it?
Well, in our candidate requirement guide and our election official manual, I highlighted the section non-genuine signatures. Board of Elections must not invalidate an entire part petition based solely on a number of non-genuine signatures. Only if the circulating normally allows an unqualified person to sign a petition should the entire petition be validated. And our staff brought to our attention, it seems with 8 different signatures all signed by the same person, according to what we see. In the past, we've thrown out a whole petition as a fraudulent petition. If we accept it, which the board has leeway to do, then she'll be fine with 25 signatures.
Well, my position would be that,
Joyce, did you vote again?
No, I didn't.
yeah,
Thank you.
11
All signed by the same person.
Is there a Lisa, is it Wilkins? Is she here?
She was a circulator. Did she knowingly know that they were paid by the same person?
It does look like the same person signed Kevin Vaughn, Kenneth Vaughn, someone else Vaughn, Courtney Vaughn. It does look like it's the same signature, but I'm not an expert on signatures. And so if we are going to invalidate this, I think it's incumbent upon us to make a referral to the sheriff's office. So I don't know what the board wants to do unless we want to call Lisa in here and let her try to explain it. I think that's the minimum of what we should do.
And I asked, did the staff compare them with the person's signature that they purported to be? So you have copies of the registrations?
Yeah.
So if they're definitely not the person's signature,
Well, that's all of them.
the whole petition should be validated. So these are definitely not the same signature as on the petition stated. Two of the bonds.
Well,
Well, you can absolutely see
The
the
signature
difference.
is definitely.
They definitely don't match there.
well, I understand that. But I'm not a signature expert, and I hate comparing signatures. I just hate doing it, because I'll be honest with you, in the morning, my signature looks different than in the afternoon. So I think at a minimum, unless the board disagrees with me, we should call Lisa Wilkins in, and if she doesn't come in, then fine. And if she doesn't come in, then I think we should make a referral for it. But at least let her or have these people explain whether or not if that's in fact their signatures.
Well, I think that we should invalidate the petition, and we should give her the option to protest if she wants to, and she can bring Lisa Wilkins in. The candidates, some, is the candidate's
Right,
issue.
I see it
I mean,
very different. No,
Well, look, if we're saying these are fraudulent signatures, is it incumbent upon us to do what? Just say, oh, the petition's not valid?
if we
and end it?
invalidate those signatures,
She'll have enough.
she'll have enough. It's up to you, but my feeling is the same person signed those signatures.
Okay, wait a minute, I wanna ask the director a question. Are you saying to me we can't invalidate the whole petition? We must invalidate the whole petition?
No, we have the option, if you look at the sheet I handed out with that, under candidate non-genuine signatures, David.
Okay, so how do we make a determination of a circulator knowingly allows an unqualified person to sign a petition without talking to her?
In the past, we've called them in and asked them a direct question.
I think we should do that. Can we table this until that happens? I mean, the law is saying that only if a circulator knowingly allows. Well, how do we know she knowingly allowed unless we speak to her? Are we just saying it by the signatures alone and we're making that inference? Is that what we're saying? Is that what we're saying?
I think our staff made a determination.
I
that
think
8
the same
signatures-
person signed those signatures. And I think if we allow one candidate to do it without recourse, then what do we do in the future? You can invalidate those signatures only and go on with it, or you can have the person come in but not certify the petition.
Well, that's my question. What is the board's position on this? Because we could do one of two things. We can invalidate the whole petition. We could have her come in, but in order to do that, the circulator has to knowingly allow an unqualified person to sign a petition. That's what the law is, right?
Correct.
So it says we must not invalidate the entire part petition based solely, only if a circulator knowingly allows an unqualified person.
Right, our determination after 8, 9 signatures of the same signature, it's hard for the circulator not to know one person signed for.
Not a person.
Okay, and if we're gonna make that determination, I'm fine with that. But then I think it's incumbent upon us to make a referral to the sheriff's department if someone is playing around with petitions. That's all I'm saying. If we're gonna say that she knowingly allowed a non-qualified person to sign, then she committed then a crime. I think it's incumbent upon this board and us to be completely transparent in enforcing these rules to make a referral.
In the past, what we've done, we've invalidated the petition and allowed the candidate to then protest the decision, and then we issue subpoenas to the circulator.
Well, that's what I suggest we do then. Are you comfortable with that?
I'm very comfortable with that.
Because the address, one of the signatures that doesn't compare, the address is not correct either.
All right, so we're gonna invalidate it and then subpoena this Lisa Wilkins in?
No, we let the candidate file a protest and then we have a hearing.
That's not what Tom said.
Isn't that what you said?
Basically, invalidate the petition, we let the stand file the protest, and then we subpoena the circulator to then talk to the circulator, because we need to hear from the circulator.
Correct.
So we're gonna invalidate it and subpoena her in. Is that my understanding?
Well, that's if the candidate files a protest, correct?
We can do it either way. We have.
I think we should do it either way. I mean, if we're saying this is fraudulent,
Right.
then I think it's incumbent upon us to do some of it. Am I wrong, Joyce, or what? You're looking at me with disgust.
No, I think some of the validity falls with the candidate. So I think if the candidate is unhappy that they got validated, I think then we call, she can file a protest. And then the protest can be heard in front with a subpoena. We have the, when a protest, you have the right to subpoena.
Okay, but here's what I have a problem with. If we are saying these are fraudulent signatures, and that's what we're saying, correct? Right?
Yep.
Do we have a duty just to say, oh, well, that's a fraudulent signature and invalidate the petition, that's the end of it? Or do we make a referral to the sheriff's department saying, hey, we believe some fraud was committed here and you better investigate this?
Now with these signatures, erased, there's still enough signatures. So if the responsibility is with the candidate, should we take away the possibility of the candidate running off? You know what I'm saying?
So if we invalidate those signatures 11 through 19,
She still has enough signatures.
she still has the next signatures, but we can still refer this to the sheriff's department, correct?
We can do both.
You do what you want as a
But the
board.
law says if a circulator knowingly allows an unqualified person to sign a petition, should the entire petition be invalid? So I think what the law is saying is if she knowingly did that, we have to invalidate the entire petition. Is that my understanding?
That's correct.
So I think Joyce would be right that we invalidate the entire
Invalidate,
petition,
yep.
make a referral, and put the onus on the candidate to file a protest and set it within,
Correct.
And
We have a
Lisa will
calendar.
what?
We can, through a protest, we can subpoena.
Yeah, I think, well, yeah, I think we should. I mean, it looks like,
February 14th.
all right, so when would the hearing be?
Protest has to be filed with us by the 17th of February.
Okay,
So it has to be within that 10 days, so between 17th and 27th, we have to have a hearing.
well, let's pick a hearing date between this, well, let's, first of all, do we have a motion on the floor?
I so move,
You move what?
I so move that we invalidate the petition,
The entire
the
petition?
entire petition.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, is there a discussion? I think we've had discussion. Is there a vote? Would the director call the roll?
Ms. Gilpesta?
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice?
Yes.
Ms. Barger?
Yes.
Mr. Arch?
Yeah.
All right, so the record is clear. I would like a motion that we refer this to the Mahoney County Sheriff's Department to see if in fact fraud was committed.
Can we wait until after the hearing to do that? I think we should have the hearing first to have, give this.
Well, what happens if she doesn't file a protest? What happens if she doesn't appeal it?
Well, if she doesn't file a protest by February 17th, then we refer it to the sheriff's department.
Okay, that sounds good. All right. The next one, I believe you said is,
Dion Dowdy Lacy.
Isn't that one we just did?
Ricole Tatalon, is that it?
Can we just do this?
Did we do
We did this, okay, honey. Yeah.
Thank you.
Ricole Tatalon.
These parts petition, she has enough signatures, but the one part petition, she puts in 24 signatures, there's only 16 signatures. So the number of valid signatures is misstated on the circular statement.
Is that a fatal flaw?
Well, it used to be, and what they're saying now, hand this down to you.
There are only 5 insurance companies, and the board must reject the entire clarification. So that's,
The board must reject the entire part petition when the over-reporting of signatures on the circular statement appears systematic and numerous on all the part petitions. So she's right, she's 4 part petitions, she was right on 3 of them.
right.
What she probably did here is look at the number 24, that's a line number petition, she put 24. So the error wasn't systematic. That's what I gave her right now.
Right.
That's those things.
I got it.
says here, the over-reporting of error is the result of minor or negligent miscounts by the circulator, so long as there no indication of fraud or material misrepresentation or does not promote fraud. And it says, in this circumstance, the board must review the validity of each signature as usual.
We get it, she has no signatures.
So I'd entertain a motion to accept her petition.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Would the director call the roll?
Ms. Calapesta?
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice?
Yes.
Ms. Barger?
Yes.
Mr. Orange?
Yes.
All right, now Dominic Leone for judge, what's the problem there?
I needed 50 signatures, we came up with 45 valid signatures. The major problem is we have 15 signatures that are non-genuine, they're printed.
They're printed?
They're printed signatures, they're printed names. So when you see non-genuine on all the petitions, they're actually printed, not signed.
Which, no, did they say no good on this one?
Non-genuine, NG is
Non-genuine.
non-genuine. There are 15 of those non-genuine that are printed.
So, let me just say, they don't even teach cursive writing anymore in school. I don't know how old these people are.
But then they should still be signing their name.
Not if they're not teaching cursive writing anymore.
Well, but if they
They're
learned
older,
it to
they've
do
learned
their
Chris-
signature card, they learned it.
I mean, is that how they normally sign their name?
No,
Based on what?
based on the road registration, which is already there. I believe we have the prosecutor's opinion on this, Melissa?
Yes, we did. Prosecutor stated that we can reject the petition, and the candidate has the right to file a protest, but the candidate also has a right to have the circulators validate their signatures, that they signed that petition, and that that was their signature, and it has to be done before a notary. So that's basically will validate the signatures.
So that's what we should do then?
That's what we should do.
That would put the onus on the candidate to bring in affidavits that that is that person's
Correct.
signature.
And he would file a protest, and we would have a hearing, just like we're gonna have a hearing for first court. So we would not validate the petitions, but we do give the candidate the right,
And so if he brings in
those five,
those 5 with affidavits,
will be fine.
he'll be fine. Is that my understanding?
Correct.
Okay. Well, I'll take a motion to that effect.
I make a motion, we invalidate Leon's petitions,
I'll second.
Dominic Leon's petitions.
All right, is there any comment? Here's all the comment I want to make. I hate comparing signatures. I think that suffrage should be left up to the voters, not up to us. And I understand we have an obligation under the law to review these petitions, and the bar is really low to get these petitions in. But if that's how someone signs their name, then he can bring that person in and.
Sure, there's a court case out there that the onus now is for us to verify the voter, not the signature. So those are the affidavits coming up now,
Right.
verify the voter, not the signature.
So we don't even have to have a hearing if he brings in affidavits, is that my understanding?
No, he has to physically file a protest, so that we have a hearing.
That's not what
I
Tom said.
think, yeah, same thing. You still would have to have a protest,
still have to have a
provide us with the
protest.
affidavits for those signatures.
Right, but the person himself doesn't physically have to come in, he can bring the affidavits in their name, as long as they're done before a notary.
Yeah.
All right,
So
I think his
Or they
attorney's
can
here.
come and testify.
we have some affidavits this evening. We'd be more than willing to get more.
Are there 5?
Yes.
Well, that's a board.
let's see.
Rachel Loss notarized around noon.
Did he see the people sign it?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, he's a notary and a lawyer, so you
Okay.
actually have to.
I know Ray very well.
James, is Jeremy the only one? Jeremy is-
And we have tried to provide their signatures from the nominating petitions along with the affidavits.
All right, well, do you want to move to that and we'll table this right now?
No, I would get rid of this. If he has the affidavits in there,
Well, she's saying we only have 10 minutes left on the Zoom. It's gonna take more than 10 minutes to review these. I want to do it properly.
It would take a lot more than 10 minutes to open the bids and determine too.
right. Can't you reset the Zoom?
Contracts only for one.
You know, the second Zoom call.
I'm gonna call them and get their cell phone numbers. Yeah. You have them on the email. Here, Tom, let me see past you.
Okay, we'll continue with this then.
All right. So there is an affidavit here from a Michael Dubois, and that's one of the non-genuine we found. Joseph Van de Hoe Jr., I'm looking for him. 36. I don't see that on here, this Joseph Van, unless I'm,
Do you have another petition? Do you have more than one?
Yeah, there's a copy of the signature under each affidavit.
I don't see this Joseph Vanden Hoover.
There's another petition.
I looked at all of
Have
it.
an address somewhere?
Yeah, it says 236 Helena Drive. So I'm looking for
Where is he on
236
here?
Helena Drive. Oh, this looks like it here.
Okay.
236 Helena
There you
Drive.
go, yep.
And that's illegible. But it says that
Listen to what he said.
that's his signature, so that's 2. We only need 5, right?
Correct.
Joseph Chapella. 102 Well Pump. See if you have 102.
You have it right here.
Yeah, but that doesn't, I want to see the original. It's on the
It's
phone.
not on there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, here it is here. That's 2.
That's 3.
Richard Tobacco at 512 8th Street. This one. There's this one right here.
Oh, sorry.
Michael Agnon, 247 Parkway. So it's on the second page, 240. Okay. All right, looks like you provided all the affidavits. Does the board have a position now?
In August, I think, want to address this if you want to hear it now, or they can file a protest against our ruling.
What did we move?
We heard from them. Their signature is there.
Yeah, I mean, they can file a protest of our validating these signatures.
You want to hear it?
You mean now, or when they file a protest?
When I got a protest.
Yeah. But let's
It doesn't
just hear,
matter.
let's hear what they have to say.
And then it clears
Should we
here.
make the motion first?
Well,
Accept it
before,
because of the
before,
affidavit.
before we accept it, let's hear what someone else has to say, right? Is that a change our minds?
May I?
Yeah.
Members of the board, good evening. Respectfully, this is a meeting tonight to either certify or not certify
Could you,
petition.
sir, introduce yourself?
Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. My name is Jim Malone. I filed my petitions for candidacy for the Stutz Municipal Court. I'm also a common police court magistrate. My concern here is it appears that the board may be putting the cart before the horse. The basis for today's meeting is to either certify or not certify based upon the documentation that was reviewed by the board staff. They spend a lot of time going over these meticulously to make sure that they're giving the board members good information. There is a process in the law if a candidate or somebody in the general public wishes to object or protest to your decision. So I believe that under the law, the proper basis here would be for the board to vote to either certify or not, and then allow that candidate to protest, and then set a hearing where evidence can be presented. I don't have any issue with another candidate presenting this evidence, but this isn't the time or place to do that. There's issues with being open with the public and giving the public the opportunity to review what's being presented to the board, to consider it, and then decide whether or not that individual wishes to be heard at the protest hearing.
Yeah, I mean,
So
Jim,
I
I
don't-
mean, he can also file a protest, right?
Correct.
Against us certifying the petitions. Yes?
And please, I'm not saying I'm doing that or not doing that. I'm just saying,
Well, my point is if we don't certify it and we hold a protest hearing and they come in and they bring us the evidence we just reviewed, are we being judicious with our time? So, I mean, we'll make it available to the public, but I've reviewed the affidavits, Joyce has reviewed the affidavits, Sanders reviewed the affidavits, and Bob, you can review the affidavits too. I don't know what different evidence would be if
I
we were to
don't know.
hold a,
I don't know where the statutes allow the board at this hearing to consider evidence. In the statute, you're allowed to consider evidence at a protest hearing. I don't believe that tonight is the proper time to consider that evidence. And that's my
is
comment.
Lynette
Thank you.
here?
Yeah, she's in the back. I think she's looking something up.
Lynette, do you have anything to say? I mean,
Not really.
yeah, can we go into executive session?
Well, the purpose of this meeting is to certify or not certify. So if we have the evidence in front of us, I think we need to certify. I think David's right, it's incumbent on us not to waste time of the public's time and the board's time with something that we've already reviewed. And I don't think the candidate can bring in anything else that would be anything different than the affidavits. So I think the meeting is here to certify or not certify.
I would agree with that assessment. Does any of the board member want to speak?
I agree too, because we've seen the proof, so why would we?
Yeah, I mean, if we're doing something wrong, I mean, the candidates certainly,
I don't know that there's anything in writing that says we can't look at the affidavits today.
I would agree with that assessment, so you don't think so, what?
I think Jim makes a valid point that usually process is first. We do have a protest hearing based on insufficient signatures, but this is new. We've never had that candidate bring in the affidavits on the day of the hearing.
Or the meeting.
I tend to be what I think the consensus of the board is to validate, because opposing sides have every right to protest our decision. So whether we invalidate or validate tonight, we're still going to have a protest hearing, it seems.
I don't know what the difference would be between what we have and if we have a protest hearing. I think it's the same.
It would be the same evidence. I mean.
Yeah. So I would entertain a motion to approve these petitions.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
I think we've had a lot of discussion. Would the director call the roll?
Ms. Pessler,
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice?
Yes.
Ms. Barger?
Yes.
Mr. Arnott?
All right. Now we're supposed to open and review bids for ballot.
No,
We have to certify the candidates to the ballot.
The what? Oh, these three? The two.
two.
Did you certify the whole list already? Yes, we have to certify the other two.
Okay.
So we take a motion to certify Rick Halton and Dominic Leon. Is that my understanding? Is there a motion for that?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, would the director call the roll?
Ms. Calpesta?
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice?
Yes.
Ms. Barger?
Yes.
Ms. Arnott?
Those vote.
And then
Is she?
Yeah.
we also have to then certify the questions and issues for the primary on the back sheet of your page.
Need a second.
It's on the left back.
There are. This one.
I don't know my list
Here, here.
All right, so what's the problem with these
We
now?
have 4 questions and we have 4 liquor options and Foreman 9. Glenban, Canada Tobacco City for weekly and Sunday. The petitions were correct number of signatures. The problem is on the circular statement, they weren't filled in.
Oh,
That's a fatal flaw, right?
Enough signatures with the circular statement incomplete.
That's a
We
fatal
feel
flaw.
that's a fatal flaw. I think he's here.
Doesn't he have to say he witnessed these signatures?
Correct, there has to be, there has to be a number of ballots. The number,
On none of these do they have the number
that's correct.
or their address. I mean, that to me is just evidence of, a pattern.
So what happened, can I speak?
You could file a protest. You can bring a protest.
Okay.
Right? Well,
This is for Boardman 9.
all right, did you want to say something?
Yeah, so that took me 30 days to do, 8 hours a day in November. It was really cold. I had, I think James, he checked it out before I turned it in and when I paid. So he told me everything was fine. I even had my attorney, we all missed it, all 3 of us, me, my attorney, and James, we all didn't even see it, but I mean,
Well, James actually doesn't have the authority to tell you what's wrong with your petition. When you file a
he
petition,
looked at each.
well, he can look at them, but he can't tell you if there's a problem with that petition.
How would he know that's, what,
Because
the
he-
numbers are missing? How would he, this is the first time he does this? Somebody have to tell him, somebody have to have a
Well,
second
Did you not
eye.
receive a packet when you got your petition from
No,
James?
no, no, I did, but
Well, that would tell you how to fill out your petition.
I mean, you guys took 162 names. You took 20 names out and you left 142
Well,
in.
can you state your names for the?
My name is Maya, I'm sorry, my name is Maya, I'm his mother. He's trying to.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yes, he's been working so hard to have this business. I mean, he's trying to be a good citizen. He wants to establish a new business, with his business. He worked 3 months in the cold, trying 8 hours a day to get those signatures. You can't just say, hey, you missed a number, you missed to
Well,
calculate those.
it's more than that. He has to, the circulator has to have it filled out of a date before the signatures, right?
That should be on there, but the fatal flaw is no number here and no address.
Yeah.
Well, they told me they could look past that, I think, Tom, you told me they could look past the address, but
The number is.
number, they
The
told
number
me,
is the issue.
but I mean, it's on
It's
the paper.
162 names,
I
162.
have no doubt that is the case, but what is filed with the board doesn't contain the number. So you're saying, well, now that I have put the number in,
You took 20 names out, you left 142, you asked him for 120 names, he have 162 signatures. You left,
are these all of his petitions?
Yeah.
So none of them have a number on them.
I think you have a whole set there.
nobody told him, somebody have to have a second eye, I mean,
Well, and the
The work
instructions,
came,
it
yeah,
would-
the instructions would have had that.
I mean, if you had a lawyer, I mean,
Yeah, the lawyer should, I would fire your lawyer.
well, I'm not gonna say that.
Right.
But it's considered a fatal flaw to be missing those
Numbers.
numbers. And that's not our decision, that's the law.
Yeah, if you go back to the set petition, we just looked at it.
I mean, how could we fix those numbers? I mean, I'm asking you, how could we fix those numbers
There's
to
another
make this
election
work?
in November. That's how you fix it. I mean, we don't have an address, which we could probably overlook, but this number that he witnessed, that's a must in petition.
And this isn't the
Well,
board's
I'm-
policy, this is statewide
Yeah.
for the county.
I'm the one who physically went out and had every
He knocked
signature.
door
Yeah,
to door,
I'm the
door
one who
to
did
door,
every
in the
single
cold, that's,
signature.
I understand that, but you didn't put the number down. I don't know if we have discretion on that. We don't have discretion on that.
Who's your attorney again?
Jeffrey Kurz.
Did you talk to Jeffrey?
Yeah, he
Kurtz?
couldn't make it tonight.
I mean, you could file a protest
And have your attorney here,
and have your attorney here. And we'll
have
set
the
a
attorney
hearing.
make the case and we'll have a hearing.
Yeah. But
Well,
this is on every petition, it's not like one petition. Every
is
petition
there any
doesn't have
other
a
way?
number.
Is there any other way?
No, because it's a fatal flaw, which is state policy. So we can't accept the petition.
I mean, these are real signatures, door to door. I mean, I was in the car, he's knocking the doors. I'm driving, he's knocking every single door. I mean, we've been through hell to get those signatures.
I know.
As a mother.
We don't want
I
the lead,
understand,
I mean, he's,
inmate, I understand, but I have rules I have to follow.
We have to follow
I
the
have
law.
to follow the law.
why didn't Jen tell him that?
Okay, but he was given a packet that explained all of this.
Yeah,
Maybe-
we read the packet, you know, and my attorney looked at it and he didn't even,
I mean, that makes it worse for you, not better. in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
Okay, the fact that you had a lawyer review your petitions and he said, yeah, these are fine, and then you submit them, and they're not fine, I mean, all I can tell you is, you know, you could file a protest and we could hear it, but my understanding is these are fatal flaws, right?
Correct.
Is that my understanding?
Correct.
So I'll entertain a motion on this.
We do not certify those. I make a motion, we do not certify those petitions.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
I think we've had discussion on it. Would the director call the roll, please?
Ms. Calpesta?
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice?
Yes.
Ms. Barger?
Yes.
Mr. Harch?
And may I just say something? Jim cannot tell you what's wrong with the petitions. That's also the law. He can only file the petitions.
Yeah, but when he looks at it and he
He
says,
can look
yes,
at it, but he
everything
can't-
looks
he can't-
good, go ahead and turn it in, that means he advised him to do so.
That's not the law in the state.
That's not the law in the state. The law is that Jim just files the petitions as they are. That is the law. That's how it reads. The
You
board-
could-
I work with billings, that's what I do. And when I see something, I'm the second eye. I say, hey, go fix this before I do the claim, before I file the
We
claim.
don't have that, we don't have that right.
That's what I do. I say, hey, you missed this, go ahead.
See, this is an attestation that he witnessed every one of these signatures. And he doesn't have a number there.
I witnessed.
I understand that, but you're not signing this. Hanna, right?
Yeah.
Hanna is signing saying, I witnessed this many signatures, and the number is blank. And so we don't, I mean, you're saying it now, but you've already filed it. You could file a petition, a protest, and we'll hear the protest. So the
Your
director,
attorney.
yeah, the director call the roll, please.
All right,
Oh,
thank you
you
for
did that? All right. All right, what's the next one?
Certified questions issued minus board member.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Which one?
We have to certify the questions issued minus board member.
Okay.
No, 9, okay, the question and issue. So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Let me just say this. The bar is not that high to get these petitions, right? I mean, it really isn't. We can go through this every election cycle. Every election cycle, it's really not that high of a bar. I mean, I feel bad, but we gotta follow the law. I mean, we took an oath to uphold the law, follow the law, and as much as I don't like it, that's what the law is. Did you call the roll already on that?
We did.
Okay. All right, now do we go to the opening of bids?
Correct.
What do we do?
We received 3 different bids for the ballots.
Are they gonna call on your phone, James?
Yeah, well, I'll call Jeremy.
And you got one you could call on your phone?
Will we watch
Oh, here, we have one
Well,
from
they were
IBS.
watching, but they can't.
We have one from IBS. Is anyone from IBS here? We have one from Midwest Direct. Anyone? Okay. And we have one from IQ. So we have 2 vendors here. We're missing one, and that's,
Well, they're gonna call those vendors, because they were
Okay.
on Zoom, and they're gonna put them on speakerphone so they can participate.
okay, we have 2 vendors here out of 3.
Yeah,
would have
but
to call
she's
Scott.
saying the third one we're gonna put on
Oh,
speaker.
yeah, IBS.
Right.
Okay.
You don't have to call Scott, it's okay.
Okay, sure.
He just wanted to
So you just
be
call
present
Jeremy.
without being.
Okay, you're
known.
speaking.
Yeah.
Three bids,
So who
unopened.
has Jeremy? So just Jeremy.
Well,
So
he's
you
here.
can
That's
participate.
We're gonna wait. We're gonna call them now.
Yes, because they were on Zoom and they had to get off of Zoom because we don't have that.
We didn't have enough time.
Yep.
I mean,
Can you set the time for longer next time if we have to go to the
It's a county contract, it's not our contract, so I'll have to talk to Data
for prosecutors?
and see what we need.
See what we need to ask you.
This is Jeremy on the line.
okay, Jeremy, are you there? All right, so we're gonna open the bids. These bids are not opened, and we're gonna open them in public right now. The first bid is from Election IQ LLC. Is someone here?
Yes.
That's you, all right. This is a proposal for ballot printing. The summary cost is here, and I'll pass it down to the board members so they can see. They are 212 precincts, cost per ballot for 75,000 ballots. One page is .18. 75,000 ballots, 2 pages, .194. 75,000 ballots, 3 pages, .38. And 75,000 ballots, 4 pages, .39. And then they gave us a cost for election day ballots. 1 page is 40 cents, 2 pages is 80 cents, 3 pages is $1.30, and I'll pass it down to Joyce, and let the other board members review.
First one. IQ is the first bid by mail. Is that for by mail ballots?
Correct.
Wait a minute, these are just supposed to be election day ballots. No absentee ballots, we're gonna do absentee
We're
on
doing
site.
all absentees in-house.
Yeah, so this is just election day
Opposite.
ballots.
That's,
So
So
those
I
are
did,
these.
so,
okay.
no, for mail, actually mail out ballot, no, they're not mail out ballots.
They're election day ballots.
Correct,
So
they're all
it's
election
18
day.
cents, okay.
All election day.
So this is all election.
Well, it has two different things there. Let me
Yeah, this
see.
is his. The bottom part is just, I'm asking.
So you have a cost of 18 cents per ballot, and then you have a election day ballots of 40 cents. So which one?
I think that's ballot stock, plain ballot stock, and then I have to, let me call Dan, I don't have that in front of me. Can I make a phone call real fast?
Yeah, the ballot stock should be included in the 18 cents, I would think.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Well, you can make that call. We'll open up the next one. The next one's by Midwest Direct. Is there someone here from Midwest Direct?
Zoom in, what's the zoom over now?
So, Midwest Direct. They have .21 one page, .21 two pages, 41 cents three pages, 41 cents four pages. That's Midwest. This is IBS. Is that who's on the phone?
Yes.
Okay. I'm opening up your bid now. Smart Original. So they're at 40 cents per page, 80 cents 2 pages, 3 pages $1.30, and 4 pages is $1.70. Am I reading that correctly, Joyce?
No, that sounds like your chart.
Yeah, you look at it.
Is it the one before it? Well, I think that's the same problem they have on
Yeah,
their,
they're
they have that chart.
here.
I think that's a lot more.
Yeah, they're.
I-
They're rather wrong. Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Okay.
All right, so they're at 19 cents, one sheet, one sided, 19 cents, one sheet, printed 2 sides, 38 cents, 2 sheets, printed 3 sides, 38 cents, 4 pages. Is that am I saying that correctly now?
Yes.
Okay. So we have the 3 proposals. It looks like IBS is the lowest, is that correct?
IQ is the lowest.
Huh?
They're both, IQ and IBS, they're about the same.
With
Because when you put the 38 cents, it's 38 cents to 9 cents, 14 cents. I would say IBS is just,
Have we dealt with IBS before?
yes,
And have we had problems with them?
no.
So that looks like they're the lowest bid, correct?
Well,
We're expecting
elections
one-page ballots.
IQ came in 18 cents with the ones that was 1 page. Then they went to 19.4.
Which makes up for the 18, 19 cents.
Okay,
You know what I'm
but then they
saying?
were 38, 39, so okay, I would agree with you.
We're expecting a one-page ballot this time.
Okay,
So,
well,
well,
then,
IQ is at 18
18
cents. If we're just doing 1 page, then the 18 cents is the best, right?
But then it goes to 19, well, then the 18 cents is the best.
Yeah, 18 cents
If we only have, you're sure we only have a 1-page ballot
throughout the county.
throughout the county? Okay.
So, that company was best
the
and
lowest
lowest.
and the best.
And have we had any problems with that company before?
We've never used this company, but I know the people involved in this county. Are you still with Barrett?
No, it's Election IQ, it's a separate company out of Akron.
Oh, and
We
you
have
the
plenty
company
of
that prints your
references.
own ballots in-house?
Yeah, we have plenty of references in the
You
state.
print them on a copy machine?
We have 4 different machines that we can print those on.
I'd like to see you afterwards.
Absolutely.
Who's your largest county you're doing for ballots?
do we have to be on the record for that? Or
Are they still taking bids? That-
the others counties that are taking bids?
Who have you
Yeah, I'd be
done?
happy to give that to you.
Who have
But
you
I-
done services for before?
We've done Muskingum County, we've done Wayne County, we have 9 counties up in Pennsylvania. We do Belmont County, we do Harrison County, among others.
Oh, my goodness, about our stuff.
Walmart's good.
Little bit.
Well, the one time we went with the lowest, we had, but they, remember, the one company.
That was Midwest.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
So what's the board's position? We're gonna go with IBS?
Well, 18, IQ is the lowest.
IQ is the lowest?
IQ is the
18 cents
lowest,
a
for
vote.
one page balance, it's
One-page
18
balance.
cents.
Lowest is best. What does the best stand?
So what does best stand for
Whatever we determine.
as a board?
So what's the board's position?
Well, the IBS is a penny more, and they've done the last 3 elections. Any issues?
Everybody have issues?
Right, stick with the same vote.
Nothing would have been solved. We had the issue with the absentees last time.
Yeah, we had
They had our,
Yes, an issue.
Yeah, that was a bad problem.
And the problem is when the hash marks are off, that's a problem. That's a biggie. So,
Right.
So what's the board's position?
Joyce, you've been doing this a long time. Look at me.
with you. I think, it's a toss-up for me, because I know the people at IQ and I know the people at IBS, but at 18 cents, I think we have to do what's best for the county. And if it's only gonna be a one-page ballot, that seems best for the board, the county, and cost-wise.
All right, so is that a motion?
Well, there's a 1 cent difference, right?
Correct. No. The first one we opened is at 18 cents.
Right.
These are 19.
Yeah, you're right, Rob. But 75,000 at a penny adds up.
75,000. That's up to 75,000.
$750, $750.
Yes, that's right. Do you shrink wrap each ballot?
We can do anything you want.
You can do it, and how, okay.
Mhm.
And how about shipping? Do you
Um,
guarantee our date?
Absolutely.
Well, what's the board's position? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we go with Elections IQ LLC.
Second.
Is there any discussion amongst more than what we've done? Hearing none, would the director call the roll?
Ms. Calpesta,
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice.
Yes.
Ms. Barger,
Yes.
Mr. Harsh.
Yes.
All right. One other
Excuse me a
thing on the
minute.
chairman's report. Oh,
Could I address the board?
yeah,
My name is Gary Close. I am the customer service manager for Midwest Direct. And I want to address some misinformation that came out a couple bid openings ago, just so that we're all on the same page, it's all a level playing field.
okay.
The reference was made here about a delivery issue that on the primary for 21, the general for 21, both instances that it was determined or seemed that we requested the board to come pick up your ballots, which is in fact false. I have emails from the director and also from the supervisor of IT, who said that you would be willing to come grab these ballots from me, so I didn't set up the transportation to come pick it up. If you have any questions, I'd be willing to answer them, or if you want to review these emails, I have copies for for the 6 of you
But
at
you're
the
still
table.
at 21 cents.
Understand, and it's not necessarily for this, but it's for the future to get this out and get the correct information out.
Well, if you want to be frank, the reason that we offered to come get the ballots is we didn't know whether you were going to deliver on time because we had so many problems with the absentees being delivered. And if you recall, that was a very bad primary for us and for you.
We all were having fun. This was the general of 21, which was after the presidential, which was the fun one we all had. And you and I had multiple phone calls,
Yes, I
and the
called you.
email I had with you that morning said you were going to send somebody, because I asked for instructions on where to deliver at this building, if there was a dock so my truck could get in here. And
Right,
even
but I
driving up
think-
today,
I
this is the
think-
first time I had been to this building, and I wasn't sure where to go, and I'm still not sure where to deliver ballots in this building.
Well, I think the problem was we were really worried that we were gonna get the ballots on time, and I think Tom can attest to that. I did have multiple conversations with you about the absentee issue and about lots of issues. So I don't take back what I said to you, or that about it, not, we had to send someone to deliver. I feel we did have to send someone to deliver. Did you?
That's what I recall of that. We
But the
wanted
email
to
that you and
done.
I exchanged said, I said, I'm ready to, ballots are ready to go, where could I take them, and is there a dock? And you
Well, as I
asked a couple
pulled my
more
hair
questions.
out, I was trying to get a solution to getting the ballots on time here so we could distribute
Well,
them on
but
time.
he's at 21 cents, right? It's just-
Yeah, no, he's just talking
This
about.
isn't about this,
He's just addressing it.
it isn't about this bid opening, and I congratulate IQ on winning your county. I just want to make sure that we get everything out on the table.
Well, I feel I have gotten everything out on the table.
That's fair. In the event, like the fall, if there was a lower bid and that was Midwest Direct, we're just trying to clear the air so that we don't have a comment
Is this
saying,
for just one
well, we had
primary?
problems 3 years ago, so we're never gonna be considered again. That's all. We're not trying to argue, we're just trying
Can I
to.
ask why we didn't bid for all year?
We're gonna have another
Last
bid.
year, we did the separate bids for each of them.
Yes, there's been two, one for each primary and general a year.
Yeah.
Well, we'll do that next year.
Next year, let's bid for a whole year. because we're gonna have to-
That's all.
I'm glad you did this, we have it everywhere.
Yes,
Yeah.
let's see how it goes.
No, but yeah,
All right, so we approved that, correct?
Yes.
All right, now, I have one other thing in the chairman's report. The last time we were here, we had 4 voters we found, remember, we referred to the sheriff. Did you get any follow-up with that?
we did. And 2 of the voters we found, father, son, Evan was a
The 4 frauds from last.
registration problem.
They still
They're still valid. So we saw 2 of them, those 2 are still
Yeah, and
valid.
what did we find?
We should have passed their ballots.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we disenfranchised 2 voters.
correct. There was on information.
Okay. And so the other 2 we're just gonna look at. Okay, let's go to the director's report.
First, we have to authorize the hiring of the necessary staff for the May 2nd primary. I think Melissa's put a good plan together, cutting back, bringing in only when needed, letting them go, so on the time frame for everyone. So we aren't running into issues of full-time staffing.
Okay, is there a motion to authorize the director and assistant director to hire necessary staff for May 2nd, 2023?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Joyce? All right, hearing none, let's call the roll.
Ms. Calpesta?
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice?
Yes.
Ms. Barger?
Yes.
Mr. Orange?
Yes.
B, we have to approve the training schedule, and I think that's in your package.
That's what this is?
Yeah. Looks like April.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, would the director call the roll?
Ms. Calpesta?
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice?
Yes.
Ms. Barger?
Yes.
Mr. Orange?
Yes.
Okay, I think we went over unfinished business partially, and then there's a personal time policy.
Were we gonna talk about the sheriff's and the study you did?
Correct, and I think that's in your package as well.
Correct.
Where is that, where we
That's
put
the big
that?
one, David.
I don't know where we just put
This
it.
is the one
It
we
should have been
asked
under
about.
directors.
Okay,
Oh, we missed this.
all right, so this is in the director's report. Do you have a recommendation?
Sure, our recommendation is continue what we have been doing, hiring sheriff deputies on the current plan. How we did it before, we contracted directly through the sheriff department, and we're responsible for not only their salary, but their parts of their health care, retirement. It came to about $72,000, $73,000 a year. The way we're doing it now, we're actually saving $3,000. It comes to $69,160. And that's even high because those deputies were on our payroll for 2 months every year of the year, for the month prior to primary, the month before general. Now we just keep them 12 months instead of 2 months. It's working out well. Just a few weeks ago, before the deputies were here, a couple months ago, we had someone sitting outside my office I didn't know. Another incident, someone sitting in Chris Rackesy's office.
Oh my gosh.
Waiting for him.
Oh my
So, plan that really, Melissa spearheaded. And it's been a great plan. Those deputies now sign those people in so we know who's here, and they're escorted to the back and given to the right person. In this day and age of election officials being threatened and
Yeah, I agree.
what have you, it's just been kind of a relief to know we have a deputy out there.
You get consistent rotation, or?
We have the same 5 people
Okay.
all the time.
That's good
And
to
actually
know.
now they're coming the same day each week.
Okay, that's good to
All
know.
right, well, let's do a motion to approve or to hire them.
Yeah, we can, well, we kind
That
of
was-
do a budgeting.
Yeah,
but
we just,
Well,
we don't
that's-
have to make any
You
motion.
just,
Okay.
We don't have to,
now.
we just wanted to know whether or not
We didn't take any
the
action.
old way was better than the new way, or the
Okay.
new way.
Now we have the personnel, personal time policy, right? I think we signed that, we already approved that, did we not?
No, at the last meeting, you all requested to have it rewritten, so this is, in your packets is the updated
So it only
version.
needs signed once, but you all have a copy.
Correct.
How are you finding out?
Because I went through it before. I brought some of it from home, so I kind of like that.
Yeah, there's a lot to go.
There's a lot to go over today.
Yeah. Well, back in January,
Oh, here it
I
is.
believe it said, in the following board members hereby approve that the 24 hours of personal time that the full-time staff accrues each year roll over indefinitely with an option to cash out 5 years worth or 120 hours upon retirement for the full-time staff only, effective immediately. Now we've changed that to roll over their personal time indefinitely from year to year with no penalty, or to have the option to cash out personal time at the end of each year with a maximum cash out amount of 120 hours, which is 5 years effective immediately.
And what's your?
Because in the past, you got 24 hours, full-time police people, correct? And it was a use it or lose it rule. We made an exception for last year because we had 3 elections. So now we want to change the whole policy and just make it, they can keep rolling it over indefinitely.
Well,
And I understand we're a board of our own.
Yeah.
I get that.
What's your position on that?
I don't know, I guess I'm looking for a reason why.
Because some people are so integral that they're punished if they don't.
But that's what personal time is. Corporate America with personal time, and I know we're not corporate America, but wherever, if you didn't use it, you lost it. I don't know why we have to change it.
Because, go ahead.
Because some people don't even get a chance to use their vacation, or they're sick, and they get penalized like I did. And it's not fair that people have to use or lose their time when they're here working every day. Chris Racketsy has tons of time, and he might not be able to take his 24-hour,
Right.
a week.
One benefit too
Now
is
it-
when somebody's newer, which we kind of have a brand new staff and a veteran staff. So when someone's newer and they haven't had a chance to accrue time, if they get sick or something and that personal time is there, they can utilize that and not have to be unpaid. We did have a few instances in the last 2 years with brand new staff that they don't get their vacation until a certain amount of time. And, there were people who got sick who went unpaid or got more sick and then didn't have enough time to cover. So it's just another little way to
Incentivize
bolster
the
that.
staff.
Incentivize the staff, yes.
I think the only problem I have is making it longevity. I do like the cashing out in 5 years, I mean, I think that sets a precedent for the board that, you know, like I had so many hours, and if I never used them, how much would I have cashed out? You know, at the end of my 30 years, or 35 years. So I think it's,
So we're forcing them every 5 years to cash it out.
right.
I think that makes sense.
I mean, what's your thinking, John?
I'm with Melissa on this, I think it's a good policy, and
Bob, do you have a?
Well, it's better than the old policy.
This is 5 years for getting rid of it,
Yeah.
you know.
My point is, there are some employees here that they're so integral to the operation of the Board of Elections that they're in a way punished by not utilizing their time. So we have to incentivize them to work the extra. I mean, at some point, they're just donating their time to the county. I don't think that's fair to them because they're so integral.
And I will say, this group of people, they're lovely to work with. They come in, they are very self-motivated about their subject concentration area, and they will come whether you ask them or not if they know they need to do something. I've had people try to take a vacation day, and they walk in the door, and I said, what are you doing here? Oh, I knew I had somebody to take care of. They're really good.
You know, it won't be this year that it'll matter, but next year, we probably won't be able to get away without having any staff here. You know, next year it's gonna be horrible, so,
Extremely busy.
extremely busy, yes, so I think, but I do like the 5-year plan, I do like them cashing out in the 5 years and then accruing for the next 5 years.
All right, let's take a motion then. Would someone make a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the personnel time accrual policy.
At 5 years?
Yes. but
Right,
that's
what's
five
here?
years. Yeah.
What's in
what's
front?
written.
Okay, is there a
Okay.
second?
Second,
We've had discussion with the director, call the roll.
Ms. Calpesta?
yes.
Attorney Beatrice?
Yes,
Ms. Barger?
Yes.
Mr. Arndt?
okay. Anything under new business?
We do, just a few quick things. As you know, Youngstown did change their map up to get even number of voters through the 7 wards. So it forces us to change our map somewhat. And the end result is the 5th ward of Youngstown will lose a precinct. The 6th ward and the 1st ward would gain a precinct, and the 7th ward would lose a precinct. 80% of those voters that are changing wards and precincts will stay in the same place to vote. So what the city did, they have to follow the same lines we do for census lines. So they cut our precincts in half, the 5th ward, the 3rd ward, down here in the 6th ward and 7th ward, and moved voters from 7 into 1 and 7 into 6. And they moved voters from 5 into 6 and 5 into 4. So it forced us to do a little shifting of lines.
I needed to eat some mushrooms to understand
Oh,
that.
yeah.
And then we got red lines and yellow lines
The
and
red
black
lines are the
lines.
current precincts. The black line we had to draw, those would be new ward boundaries that the city gave us to do.
So we're just doing what the city's doing?
Correct.
All right, so the city, and by law, we have to do that, right?
Correct.
All right, so
We
the
just
city,
need
the city redrew their lines, and we're just following what the city did. Is that my understanding?
Right, but they changed ward lines, we have changed precinct lines. So the net is, the number of precincts stay the same in the city, it's just 5 and 7 will be -1, and 1 and 6 will be +1.
Okay. Do we have to, go ahead.
How will that affect the precinct committeemen who
They
ran in those
serve,
precincts?
they serve until the next
They-
election.
Or they serve in both precincts if it's combined with another precinct?
Yes.
Or if it's within a...
They serve
Yeah,
in
we've
their
done that
own
before.
precinct, yeah,
Okay.
All right, is there, go ahead.
When will this be ready for?
by May.
I mean,
That has to be because the elections in May. for
right,
Youngstown.
okay.
Is there a motion to accept the new ward and/or, do we have to, and ward and/or precinct lines?
So moved.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. I think we've had discussions with the director, call the roll.
Ms. Calpesta?
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice?
Yes.
Ms. Barger?
Yes.
Mr. Arndt?
Yes.
And then I believe you have something to go over real quick?
Yeah, we'll just do real quick. Because then,
Yeah.
Because we'll be talking about it over the next few months. So we gave you in your packet, this is the legislative changes that are coming,
Yeah.
actually, that are in effect starting April 7th unless these lawsuits have an impact. So we were gonna maybe go over them today, but we'll just have you take that with you, read through it, and then we can discuss it.
Yeah, there's a
next month.
number of things in the new law that I have questions about, and I think the meeting's running exceptionally long today, so I'd like to bring that up at the next meeting.
Okay.
Because they're putting some onus on us with disabilities, like,
I mean, for the curbside.
Yeah.
OAEO is also looking into it too, to come up with some, to help us understand.
I mean, they're like making us be the arbiter of whether someone can walk into a polling place or not. I don't think any of us are qualified.
But there's no teeth in the way it's written, there's no teeth in it. What do you do if you say, I mean, right, isn't it the same, Joyce, it's just that they said you have to?
The problem with curbside voting is you have one person who's handicapped and you have 4 people in the car. So you have to vote those 4 people that are in the car. I mean, there are some problems with curbside voting, that some people really aren't, you know, handicapped. I mean, I understand the reason for the law.
Right.
It's just, I don't understand how you're gonna justify who's handicapped and who's not. It doesn't have any teeth.
No teeth.
No
Yeah,
teeth.
I definitely have some questions on the other things that maybe
So-
will be answered by the OEAE or.
We did just want to mention this so that you're aware, because even though we would typically be a little slower with a smaller election, we're going to be extremely busy over the next few months because we will have to change verbiage on our provisionals, our acknowledgement cards. And right now, we're waiting for guidance from the Secretary of State's office because the ID requirements have changed. And we have already met with Casey Malone to do some public outreach so that we can flood our community with the new rules, so that when they show up on election day, they're prepared to vote and they have an ID. So that's probably gonna be the biggest one, wouldn't you say, Joyce, the ID?
Right, the
To
ID.
make sure people, we don't have Monday voting anymore, early voting the Monday before. They moved up the absentee application request date, they changed the cure period for provisionals from 7 days to 4 days, but the biggest thing will be the ID.
Well, the thing I don't understand about the ID is you have to show an ID to vote, then you have to sign the poll book so we can compare signatures. To me, I don't understand that at all. If someone's showing an ID, why is the onus on us then to compare signatures if they have to have a photo ID to vote? I mean, I don't know why and no one's electronic signature looks like their signature. I mean, and those are electronic signatures, right? That
No,
were.
those are, you know, you go
Well,
like
yeah, it's not a
this.
piece of paper, it's on a tab.
Yeah.
So it's not like a DocuSign where it has a printed and you click.
Yeah.
You're still making that movement.
I understand that, but
Oh,
if
the
you've ever
signature
signed
looks-
an electronic thing at the store, your signature looks nothing like your signature. Okay, I mean, I use those pads and they go, sign here, and it doesn't look like signature, and they're making us have these people sign them to compare signatures, when they have to have a photo ID. It's just something
And may I say something?
Yeah.
These laws are the laws. The OEAO has already gone through the process. We've lobbied the Secretary of State and the legislature what we wanted. We got some of the things we wanted, we didn't get some of the other things we wanted. But this is the law. There's nothing anybody can do about this right now.
I know, but well, we'll talk about it next time.
So the other 2 things I wanted to mention, I wanted you to be aware of the legislation and that it would have an impact on the staff. I mean, down to training all the way up to election day, it will have an impact. The other 2 things were, and Joyce, you might remember this, we found out we have some money left over for the VEAP, I forget but it's for election equipment.
Yeah, for equipment.
And so we have 107,000 left, and we did get an estimate from ES&S about another 950, so we're really thinking about switching out that 850 for 950 for the absentee scanners, or express votes.
I would hold on to that money, wait and see what the express votes come in, not the express votes, wait and see what the, Secretary of State, we're getting money from the Secretary of State for the poll books. Let's hold on to that money because we might want to get an upgrade to a poll book that might cost us more money than what the Secretary of State gives
The
us.
108,000 we have left over in the grant has to be voting equipment. It can't be applied to
Poll books?
poll books.
And it has to be done real quick because we're already overdue.
Oh, I get another 950 then.
I agree with you.
Right, with the absentee
Yeah.
scanner, yeah.
I would
So-
agree
I
with
wish we
that.
could save that money because that would come in handy for poll books.
And then our poll book, we got an email today, they're getting ready to send out what those disbursements will be. They're just getting ready to calculate, and it's gonna be based on a number of registered voters, how
You
much
know
we
how
get.
much, oh, you don't know how much, it'll probably be around 250,000.
All right, so do we need a motion for that, or are we just,
No, we're just informing you.
okay. So, anything else for the good or the public order?
Annie, you wanna tell David you're making a professor presentation on Friday? Or who's making the presentation on Friday?
Oh, yes, we do have our first public outreach event this Friday.
Oh, great.
We're gonna be at the Boardman Youngstown Kiwanis group, so they're gonna give us about 10 to 15 minutes to
Great.
to
If you'd let me
present.
know if I can be there, or any of the board members be there, I'd certainly like to go.
Absolutely.
All right?
And we do have more on the books, how many do you have
Yeah,
right now?
so far, I have 3. So we have one in April with the St. Elizabeth's Auxiliary Group. That might be a good one for y'all to come to because they're going to give us 45 minutes, so it'll be a lot more time. And then June 14th, the League of Women Voters has requested us to come to their
Oh,
meeting.
Oh, well,
excellent.
I'm a member
excellent.
of that. What happened to my
Excellent.
candy?
So lots of good stuff going on here at the board.
Well, that's
So we're working
excellent.
on public outreach.
That's good. I think we should. All right, anything else? The next regularly scheduled board meeting is set for Tuesday, March 7th at 4 PM at offices at 345 Oak Hill Avenue in Youngstown, Ohio. The chair will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It's made, is seconded, would the director call the roll?
Ms. Calpesta?
Yes.
Attorney Beatrice?
Yes.
Ms. Barger?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes, meeting is adjourned.
Okay,
Pound that.
yeah.